The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, Issue 4. This was released January 4th, 1983, but the cover date is April 1983. This is about a year before the second Indiana Jones movie, Temple of Doom, comes out. Indiana Jones was going strong, even though the first movie, Raiders of the Lost Ark, is a few years before this, but fandoms had a long life back then. These Marvel comics are exquisite. They're really, really cool. They're not re-released and are not reissued at all nowadays. I don't know what the rights disputes are with Indiana Jones, but it's a shame because these are fantastic. This kicks off the first two-part story, which could have very easily been another movie. The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, Stan Lee presents, because he presents everything. So Indiana Jones is on a plane, and there's something fishy going on, of course, with this plane. Lots of exquisite art here. The credits are David Michelinie for plot and script. Ron Frenz is on pencils, and he also did the cover. Danny Bolanati is inker. Joe Rosen is the letterer. Bob Sharon is colors. Louise Jones is the editor, and Jim Shooter is the editor-in-chief. Gateway to Infinity. So this would be Indiana Jones and the Gateway to Infinity. So something's wrong with this plane. It's heading into a storm. But someone really doesn't want Indiana Jones alive. And so the pilot escapes in the only chute. And Indiana Jones is trying to find a chute. And he finds something to create a chute with. And he shoots the cargo door open so that he can fly out of the plane with a blanket as his chute. And so Indiana Jones plummets to Earth, and at some point he abandons his chute and just does a deep dive into the ocean. And it looks like he's a goner, but Indiana Jones escapes and he gets his lucky hat, and he signals for a nearby freighter. And so he heads back to the United States, and it's there that he receives a new mission by the government. And this happened, of course, in Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is what they know, is that he is a teacher and an archaeologist, but whenever something happens, like the Nazis take interest in something, America turns to Indiana Jones. And something happened at Stonehenge. One of the blocks fell due to a storm, shattered, and revealed a crystal cylinder. And the crystal cylinder is of great importance and of interest to the Nazis. And so Indiana Jones will team up with a historian, Karen Mays, who's of course attractive, and asks Indiana Jones out to dinner. Meanwhile, German government is eavesdropping, and they have the pilot of the plane who failed to kill Indiana Jones with them. While at dinner, Indiana Jones is served soup, and they talk about this artifact. But something's wrong with the soup. There is a fly in Indiana Jones' soup, but the problem is the fly is burned, and Indiana Jones examines the soup and realizes that it's poisoned, and so they leave the restaurant. While strolling outside, they talk more about their mission. They examine the crystal cylinder and realize that it was made thousands of years before humanity by visitors from somewhere else, a dimension, a planet. It's one of the greatest discoveries of our lifetime, and they celebrate. But they realize the German government is going to try and get it. And so, of course, they are eavesdropping this whole time. And the crystal cylinder signals and unlocks a dimension where these beings will come back from. And it has to be placed in the center of Stonehenge. And spies come out of the fireplace and attack. And Indiana Jones shoots back, and a huge firefight ensues, and then Indiana Jones and Karen jump out a window. They land on an awning and try to escape through a taxi. And they tell the taxi that Nazis are on their tail, and the taxi driver is more than willing to help them out. And while being chased, they encounter a huge traffic jam in London, and the Nazis are still in hot pursuit. The taxi driver helps out by smashing them through a door. And Indiana Jones and Karen go down into the subway and run onto the tracks and get shot at. But while they're being pursued, a train is coming. And the train is about to hit them. And to the German government here, they think that yes, the train probably smashed them, but Indiana Jones did escape with Karen. And he talks about a dig he was on in Montreal and he learned a lot about subways or something. I don't know. He's not really specific about how they escaped. Anyways, they carjack this dude, some rich person, and steal the car. And while they're driving on a bridge, they get smashed by another car and almost drive right off the bridge. And they're about to plunge into the river, but they're held on by the back bumper. But that bumper slowly gives, and they're about to plunge. And that's the end of this issue. The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, Issue 5. This was released February 1st, 1983, but the cover date is May 1983. This issue was 60 cents, and I love these corner boxes, especially for Indiana Jones. Looks amazing. This cover is exquisite. This is Ron Frenz yet again, and this creature is about to attack Indiana Jones here, summoned by this dude. Stanley presents Indiana Jones. So Indy and May are about to plunge into the river in a car that would basically be sealed shut by the water pressure. The Harbingers. David Michelini's plot and script. Pencils by Ron Frenz. Inks by Danny Bolanati. Lettered by Joe Rosen. Colored by Bob Sharon. Edited by Louise Jones. And editor-in-chief is Jim Shooter. So Indy and Karen escape this car as it plunges into the river. Indy hangs on with his whip, but the bad guys come and make a proposition. They want the cylinder, but Indy and Karen would rather just drown, so they fall into the river. But it's really a garbage scow, and they can't shoot at them because it's too public, so they're just going to have to tail them again and catch them again. And Indy and Karen are holed up in Karen's mother's place, and Karen's mother really likes Indy. Indy has no male clothes here, so he's wearing this woman's robe. And they talk more about the cylinder. It has to be placed in the middle of Stonehenge that night to summon these guys. And they talk about whether or not this should be done. Indy kind of doesn't want to do it. He changes his tone later on. Anyway, they're still being bugged by the German government of the time, of the 30s. And so these guys try to pursue them in all different railway systems, roads, etc. And there's a spy on the train that they're going to take. And that spy holds up Indiana Jones and threatens them, and he wants the cylinder. Indiana Jones tries to pull the emergency brake, but breaks it right off, and that's because this dude had rigged it so that it couldn't pull. But Indy uses the handle and throws it at this guy and knees him right in the stomach and tries to escape. This dude is between the door and Indy, so Indy goes out a window on top of the train, and this guy pursues Indiana Jones. And Indy says, you know what, here's the bag, have at it, and he leaves. And the guy's like, well, why do you do that for? There's a tunnel coming, and it destroys this guy. And of course, the bag did not have the cylinder. Indiana Jones escapes. And this woman's like, oh, you swaggering, insensitive, infuriating, adorable man. So, she's charmed by his recklessness, as a charming rogue. And the bad guys stop the train, and Indiana Jones and Karen escape in a motorcycle with a sidecar, and they're being pursued by the bad guys. There's a rickety rope bridge, and Indiana Jones rigs it so that when he drives over it, he destroys the thing as he's driving it. And so they escape again, with no way for these guys to follow them, but they're still being shot at. Indy and Karen try to escape through the moors and fall into quicksand. Quicksand was a trope in every adventure thing in the 80s, and you don't even hear about it anymore. Indiana Jones tries to escape with his whip, but can't. The bad guys come and make a bargain to get the cylinder. They do, but then they cut Indy's rope, so now Karen and Indy are stuck in quicksand while the bad guys have the means to summon these creatures. They try to shoot at the branch, but it doesn't work, and then Indy throws the gun at the branch, and the branch finally falls. And so they escape, and they walk their way toward the Stonehenge area by midnight. And when they're there, the Project Gateway military guards are taken out. And Indiana Jones discovers that the ceremony is underway to summon the creatures. And here are the Yahtzees summoning the creatures, and here they are. They're coming through their portal. And as this happens, Indy can't believe it, and he wants to make contact with these creatures. The things they can learn, he has to know. And this dude that's been pursuing them all this time starts trying to shoot at them, and then Karen has had enough and smashes him with her purse. And Indy's like, you know what, I've got to make contact with these guys. And Karen's like, don't you see, Indy? If we let this go on, murderers like that Nazi gunman could take over everything. Everything. And Indy's like, yeah, I guess you're right. I think in my soul, I've known it all along, but I'm going to hate myself in the morning. So he tackles the dude that has the cylinder, and the cylinder shatters. And as it shatters, the portal closes, and this dude that's a German spy, he's so shocked that he's not going to escape. So Indy's like, okay, fine. And everyone gets arrested, and Indy is like, I just can't help wondering if what we've given the world makes up for what we've taken from it. And Stonehenge is there as dawn breaks, and the world is safe from these terrible creatures that would have teamed up with the bad guys. And that's the end of this story. This was The Further Adventures of Indiana Jones, issues 4 and 5 from 1983. I hope you like going through this with me. If you like what you saw, please give a like to this video. Please subscribe to this channel if you haven't already. Lots of great comic book stuff on here. So until next time, take care.